So I just saw The Bad Guys, and it was alright. It was enjoyable for what it was, but don't go in with any crazy expectations. It had charm and personality, and there were definitely points where the humor worked, but the script and story kinda sucked. It was a very average, run-of-the-mill, and somewhat predictable sequence of events. The universe was kind of weirdly established. Pretty much everyone is a human, except the main characters that have speaking roles, who are anthropomorphic animals. I guess human character design is a bit easier for animation. It would probably be a bit more difficult and time-consuming to design every background character as some unique species. And although the humor really worked for me at parts of the film, there are enough parts that didn't that, the script's not amazing or anything. However, the biggest reason why I was still able to enjoy this film overall is probably the animation. The characters were well designed and likable. There were a lot of intentional choices for the animators to add style and personality to the film. At points, the snake character is animated in a fun and clever way where it seems like part of his body will be essentially acting as though it were like a human elbow sticking out of a vehicle or sticking out from underneath his covers while he's in bed. There are plenty of fun and cute details like that in the film. I loved seeing the animation include things like speed lines, or I don't know if that's the technical term for them, but stylized decisions that make it feel a bit more comic booky at certain points. Now, that being said, this wasn't exactly consistent throughout the entire film. There are certain scenes where the style is really heavy and others where it's completely unnoticeable. It probably would have been better to have a more consistent style throughout, but I still really enjoyed it. This is a very basic movie, but it had enough going for it that I did not regret watching it. So yeah, if this seems interesting to you, then check it out. It was good. It was fine. It was decent. And I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10. I also saw the new Robert Eggers film, The Northman, and it was really good. This is the same director as The Witch and The Lighthouse. The Witch is a movie that I remember enjoying. It is very, very well shot, especially for its $4 million budget. The Lighthouse is one of my favorite movies. It's a fantastic, really unique experience. I absolutely love it. The Northman is not quite as good as The Lighthouse for me, although not a lot of films are. And with The Lighthouse only costing $11 million to make, this is Robert Eggers' first big budget film. Apparently, The Northman cost somewhere between $70 to $90 million, so this was considered to be a lot more of a studio investment. Apparently there was some studio interference during this film's production, although I have no idea what the details are on that. Robert Eggers made a comment suggesting that he will probably be returning to smaller budget films, and I think that's totally fine. It is still unfortunate that this film is bombing at the box office, but I can't say I'm exactly surprised. Don't get me wrong, this film is very well shot, well acted, well written, and compelling, but it's still a Robert Eggers art house film, and watching it, I'm confused how they thought this would appeal to general audiences. This film reminded me of both The Green Knight and The Revenant, and I absolutely love The Revenant, but I can still acknowledge that a huge reason why it was successful is because it starred Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy. For a studio to make this much of an investment on a Robert Eggers art house film, you'd think that they would cast people with a bit more star power. This film has plenty of actors that film enthusiasts will recognize and be excited about, but that's not really the general public, so oops on that one. Everyone did a great job with their performances, so no issues there. I really loved the story, although I can't say that I was compelled the entire time. Personally, it did feel a bit long for what it was, but perhaps on my second watch I'll enjoy the pacing a bit more knowing what it is. The action that takes place in this film is violent and brutal. I love seeing action in films that feels fairly mature. However, my one issue with the action is that the fight choreography does seem a bit too choreographed. At points it feels less like a fight and more like a dance. At points the motions were too slow and it was like people were waiting for each other sort of thing. The action and fight choreography certainly worked overall, but there's enough points in the film where something really felt off about it. Again, maybe I'll feel differently on a second watch, I have no idea. Either way, this was an enjoyable and weird film that had some really striking visuals here and there, and although there are sections of this film that feel fairly undistinguished from other movies, the overall experience is pretty unique and memorable. So yeah, check this one out if you're interested. I thought it was really good, and I'll probably see it again at some point. So for now, I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. Thank you.
Ooh,
oh, easy clap. Maybe they didn't know there was a sprint option. Oh no, that's so sad.